Stating this is what happened. The only one, of course, who denies it is Donald and company, but these are all legitimate claims that he's required to be held accountable for if the adage that no one is above the law is true.
And you have these Republican leaders who have decided that they would choose Donald Trump over American democracy, over the United States of America. And probably no one exemplifies this more than Kevin McCarthy. I mean, you must have known Kevin McCarthy in some respects when you worked for Trump. I mean, did you? What did you think about that guy?
I didn't know him at all. I actually, in fact, never met him. Remember, my tenure over there expired, obviously, before he came on. But from what I see of him, he's just another asshole looking for power. And it's a real problem. Any one of these election deniers, and we're seeing more and more of them winning their primaries, will be the base for why our democracy gets destroyed. It's been talked about from our leaders for hundreds of years that no foreign power will ever be able to destroy America. But what will destroy America will be domestic terrorism. It will come from the inside. And they're not joking. You're talking about whoever thought it would be members of Congress, especially the Republican Party. They've become the party of hate, of racism, sexism, misogyny. They've taken over all of Donald's wonderful attributes.
Wow. Man, some of that Donald Trump, man, listen, this is that Michael Cohen get back, okay? Some of that get back action that y'all. Ooh. This is that Michael Cohen get back. Ooh. Have y'all seen the MeidasTouch podcast? Oh. Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago, okay? Wow. I don't know if y'all have heard the news, man, but it's been interesting to say the least. And there actually has been some pretty significant updates today when in the world of Donald Trump. Honestly, let's get the Leaky podcast of the Spotify on up in here so we can run this story on down and listen. Huge breaking news. I mean, I guess it ain't really breaking so much anymore, but Alan Weisselberg, right? Alan Weisselberg, longtime Trump executive, has pled guilty to tax fraud today. I believe that, well, Alan Weisselberg was a long-term Trump organization employee. Long-term, he's been their top financial officer, the top guy, all right, of former President Donald Trump's company, the Trump Organization. He pled guilty today. He pled guilty. He pled guilty to committing more than a dozen felonies, including criminal tax fraud and grand larceny. Hmm. Weiselberg and the Trump Organization were actually indicted last year by authorities in New York who charged them with concealing certain financial compensation as part of what they called a years long scheme to avoid paying taxes. The case was part of the churning legal storm that actually still surrounds Trump and his close allies. Local, state, and federal authorities have been scrutinizing everything from his namesake business to his handling of classified government documents since leaving office. Listen, I felt like, well, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. Okay. Now, Weisselberg is 75 years old. He had actually acknowledged his part in a scenario that had been outlined by prosecutors and agreed to testify if called at a pending trial for the company as part of his plea agreement. Weisselberg, Trump's close and trusted associate for decades, will spend 5 months in jail, followed by 5 years of probation. Very interesting to see him making his way to the stand.
That he would be running face first into a wall, or it's called the wall of reality, when he knows that he's going of me, or at least the threat of prosecution.
Hold that thought, y'all.
Deal gets an immunity deal from them, but tries to apply.
Listen, man, Michael Cohen, I think that America loves a good comeback story. Hey, Gloria, America, we love a good comeback story. We really do. Michael Cohen, in the last several years, I mean, this man has been to prison. Okay. This man has paid, for whatever his sins were with Trump 5 times over. And it's got to be difficult, right? It's got to be extremely difficult to sit by, right? And see Donald Trump still a free man, okay? Still a free man, still out there causing damage. Amazingly, too, I mean, Michael Cohen watched the January 6th insurrection like all of us. And I think Michael Cohen's take on Trump is it's awesome because Michael Cohen was the fixer, right? He was the fixer for Donald Trump for a number of years and has now turned state on Donald Trump. And amazingly, Donald Trump is still a free man, although some are calling for Donald Trump to go to prison. Okay. Many want to see Donald Trump locked up. I mean, he did call for several people to be locked up himself, didn't he? When he was president of the United States of America, he actually weaponized the justice system against several critics / enemies of his. Alan Weisselberg, he spoke sparingly during the hearing, answering yes to affirm his guilt on every count. His future testimony, however, could prove damaging for the former president's namesake company, which prosecutors say carried out a sweeping and audacious illegal payment scheme. I don't know how Trump's going to get away from this, right? Weisselberg's sentence depends on him testifying truthfully at the Trump company's trial. This is according to the district attorney's office, right? Now, the plea agreement that Alan Weisselberg took directly implicates, the Trump Organization in a wide range of criminal activity. Furthermore, thanks to the incredible hard work and dedication of the team prosecuting this case, according to Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, he said that Weisselberg will spend time behind bars, and that he looks forward to, he said, quote, "We look forward to proving our case in court against the Trump organization," end quote. The former president and those close to him have assailed the case, trying it to the thicket of other investigations and scrutiny that he routinely characterizes as a coordinated witch hunt by Democrats who dislike him. Now, in a statement, Trump, right, his company has called Alan Weiselberg, right, one of the most loyal guys in his firm. We're talking about the top dude, okay? CFO, Chief Financial Officer. Listen to what Trump said. Trump, the statement released by the company has called Alan Weiselberg, quote, "Find an honorable man who, for the past 4 years, has been harassed, persecuted, and threatened by law enforcement, particularly the Manhattan District Attorney, their never-ending, politically motivated quest to get President Trump." Alan Weiselberg is also one of the guys that has been quoted as saying that he knows where the bodies are buried. Two companies, two corporate entities, right, have been charged alongside Weiselberg, and they're not making any plea deal. They've denied wrongdoing. And they say they're looking forward to having their day in court. Jury selection in the Trump organization's trial is scheduled to begin in late October. The company noted this just days before the midterm election, and that the plea deal that emerged, around Mr. Weiselberg's 75th birthday. I guess, Weiselberg is going to plea on with it. I mean, basically, the indictment against Weiselberg, okay, is an effort to secure his cooperation against Donald Trump. Y'all know this, right? That's the strategy. Weiselberg said that it was one of the most difficult decisions of his life when he decided to enter a plea of guilty to put an end to this case and the years-long legal and personal nightmares it has caused for him and his family. An attorney for Weiselberg, Nicholas Gravante Jr., said in a statement that rather than risk the possibility of 15 years in prison, he has agreed to serve 100 days. We are glad to have this behind him. Is this the Michael Cohen kickback, baby? I don't know. It's looking quite juicy right now. You want the truth about it. Listen, MeidasTouch podcast. You should go check it out on the YouTube. Okay. They are on the YouTube. And this video, I think, is probably viral at this point. In the interest of the public, okay? In the interest of the public. Give me 1 second here. In the interest of the public, my goodness. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, I think I dropped a link. I know I put a link in the description. Okay. But I'm going to tell you what the most interesting thing was for me in this interview with MeidasTouch. Cohen's take on those classified documents that were discovered in a raid that he's what do you say, Mar-a-Lago? The recent raid on Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. I really just have to let you hear it for yourself, to be honest. It's quite startling. It's quite concerning. And my thing is, like, if there were any questions about Donald Trump and his loyalty when he went into office, especially when it came to Russia, right? Sarah Palin said, I can see Russia from my house. But it's not really, well, it's so concerning that so many of you Republicans out there, I should really say Donald Trump supporters. If it wasn't bad enough when he went into office, it's even worse because now, after he left office, some suspect that Donald Trump took those classified documents with him, right, to Florida, to his resort, Mar-a-Lago, for the purposes of selling the information, right? Selling out his country. Some of the documents that he had, I had no business with that stuff, right? Did Donald Trump have an interest, a foreign interest? Listen, let me, in the interest of,
against the Trump organization.
Hold that thought.
And also Trump payroll, which are two of Donald Trump's eponymous companies.
So Alan Weisselberg
of Alan Weisselberg, when it was the property of a cemetery, Trump himself, the defendants to cut a plea deal is predicated upon the answers that Alan will give when questioned. And well, you certainly don't advertise it. You don't come on MeidasTouch or the Mea Culpa podcast and reveal where the fucking safe is and what's inside of it. So who would actually know this?
Secret documents. But the question that still lingers out there.
For him to tell somebody like Mark the Moron Meadows, not going to happen.
Here we
He's not
go.
gonna
Got
tell
it.
Lindsey
Listen to this.
Graham. He's not going to be spouting, hey, I got this safe at Mar-a-Lago and I got shit in it. No, that's not how he works. Who would know? Well, the kids would know. And, through association, if Ivanka knows, Jared would know. And again, he held a senior advisor position for Trump and was the secretary of everything. Now, one of the reasons I don't believe Don knew about it, or at least what was in it, because they did have to plead with specificity to the warrant what items they were looking for. Donald would always say that Don Jr. has the worst fucking judgment of anyone he's ever met. And you don't see a lot of Don Jr. out there now. So I think he's sort of been sidelined, whereas Eric is out there talking about the releasing of the tape and all the other. Eric is just a fucking idiot. There's no other way to describe him.
Baby!
So the thing that comes out of his mouth is just incredible because they're not thinking about the repercussions of the statements that they're making. All they're thinking about is how to continue the grift, something you and I have been talking about now for 2 years since we first met. They've already fundraised and raised millions of dollars off of what happened with the FBI from these unsuspecting stupids that call themselves MAGAs.
And there's lots of talk right now about the fact that Donald Trump stole these top secret
Here's
documents.
the important
But the
part.
question that still lingers out there is, why did he steal the documents? And maybe more importantly, why did he not give them back when he was asked with the other documents? What's your speculation there?
Right. So 1 year ago, they came in and the National Archives, the FBI, they confiscated about a dozen boxes of information. Why he took them, that we'll get to in about a half a second. But I believe, right, that he elected not to return these additional, say, dozen boxes because there was information in it that he felt that he could use. And you're asking exactly the question that I asked on MSNBC to Ali Velshi last Saturday morning when I said, the question should not be that everyone's asking, what were those documents, but rather, why was he keeping those documents? And knowing Donald the way I know Donald, there has to be a benefit to him. I believe he saw some of those documents as a get out of jail free card, as a way to extort the United States government, the FBI, or anybody that's looking to prosecute him. And
man, listen, that Michael Cohen get back is going to sting, Trump. It's going to sting. That Michael Cohen get back. Listen, he's got a new book out. It's titled Revenge. Baby. Oh.
Say, hey, listen up. All right. I have, as you know, a lot of supporters that are willing to die for me. And as a result, I have given them certain documents, all right, or copies of certain documents that could be injurious, which he wouldn't use that word because he doesn't know what it means, that could harm, all right? He only uses like 4-letter words, that could harm the national security of this country. And I say that because he doesn't give a shit about this country, right? The country rejected him in the 2020 election, so he's just as happy to burn the fucking place down. But if you indict me, if you incarcerate me, these documents are going to be released to Iran, North Korea, right? To Russia, to China. And this is going to create a national security issue that the United States will never rebound from. That's what I believe that he was holding those documents for, because that's the way his nefarious, evil, narcissistic, sociopathic mind actually works.
Listen. Listen. Wow, man. It's so nice to hear somebody. I mean, people kind of look at Michael Cohen as like being sort of a source of authority on a lot of things, Donald Trump, again, because he was Donald Trump's personal lawyer for many years. They actually say that Michael Cohen was the man who knew where all the bodies were buried. And this is a moment I think that many of us have been waiting for. Keith Olbermann, I know you're smiling. Oh, Keith Olbermann. Man, shout out to Keith Olbermann. I miss his show even now, all these years later. I used to love that show on MSNBC, followed up by Rachel Maddow, of course, who has since took an amazing contract with MSNBC to not be on the air, working on big projects. Shout out to Rachel Maddow, man. My thoughts on the whole Donald Trump going to prison thing, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you why. I think Donald Trump would rather put a bullet in his head than walk into a prison in the United States of America. That's my thoughts on that. We all may wake up one day to Donald Trump having passed away from a heart attack with his face in a couple of Big Macs and cold French fries. I don't think that man's ever ate a lick of McDonald's in his life. But there's something to be said about that. If you are somebody that can say some of the cheapest, nastiest food, all right, is some of your favorite food, there's something really wrong with you, okay? Or he really, really grew up with a silver spoon and never experienced any, poor man's food, po man's food, right? Ramen noodles, Vienna sausages, cooking ramen in your crock pot because you don't have a stove, that type of shit, right? Yeah, been there. But this right here, this is what Donald Trump has been fucking absolutely afraid of. So not only have they, got Weisselberg, who has now actually pled guilty to these felonies. We're talking several felonies at that. They didn't even drop those hoes to no misdemeanors or nothing. They said, no, we're getting you on these felony charges and you're going to plead to them. You're going to do 100 days in the pen. All right. Down from the 5 years you could have did. Did I lose sound? Hold that thought, baby. I may have lost my sound. Okay, I think I'm good. I don't know what part you didn't have sound on, Gloria. But let me know. But yeah. So I mean, on top of Weisselberg pleading guilty, right? We're talking about a man, y'all, that has been labeled a traitor since he got the presidency. When there's a question in people's mind about your loyalty to Russia, and then we all find out that there is a P tape with your name on it. And then we all find out that Russia has loaned you how much in money? How much of what loan? What? How big is that loan? A billion. Wow. Deutsche Bank, right? The scandal of Deutsche Bank. This is that Michael Cohen get back. Michael Cohen is like, bitch, I'm out of jail now. I'm out of prison. All right. I had to go do all that time for that fat fuck. All right. Man, it is an invigorating thing. I absolutely love it that we're seeing Michael Cohen come out and talk more. Talk. Definitely follow him on Twitter. Again, y'all, his new book, Revenge. Ooh. Donald Trump. Down to having to release messages on his Trump social media. Ain't that something? What is it called? Trump Truth, or it has Trump in it, right? Or Truth Social. Truth Social is the name of the application. Now, I have not personally downloaded Truth Social. I have no plans on downloading Truth Social, but it is very interesting. Donald Trump has a big enough platform where, I mean, of course he's flexing on people, right? He built his own social media. And now you can't, with his own social media, he becomes a bit limited in a sense, but in a sense, he also has no limit, right? Meaning he has no limits to what he can say, but his limitations are, listen, I have not installed and downloaded Truth Social and don't care. Matter of fact, y'all kind of got me interested now. Hold that thought. Let me just see. I mean, do they even have access via a website? Let me see. Let's go take a look from a technical perspective. What Truth Social's got going on? And of course, his posts are making the news, right? How many users are on Truth Social? Amazing. So you mean to tell me that as of today, 2 million monthly users and 513,000 daily active users. Registration is required. Let's go to it. Watch, we're going to get to a page. It's going to say you have to install an app. See? Look at there. Looky there. I mean, that is sort of flexing, right? When you can build your own social media. Amazing, right? That's what people do with their money, right? When they let their money do some work, right? True Social is America's big tent social media platform that encourages an open, free, and honest global conversation without discriminating against political ideology. Well, listen, after getting banned on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I'm not surprised this was the route that he took, which looks extremely similar to Twitter. I wonder which son worked very hard to set this up for they Paul. Well, Mom Paul, I'm just curious. I bet it was Donald Trump Jr.'s little American psycho looking ass. Or is that Eric? Oh, it's both of them. Got it. like, guy from American Psycho. But interesting. Also interesting, the names that you see right here on the screenshots as well. For all we know, they hired someone straight out of Twitter to build this. Who knows? It would have probably took a developer a day or two to build this up, to be honest with you. Website, an hour, right? It's nothing to build a website these days. But my question, right, about True Social is, if let's say that I download it, right, and I install it and I get on there, okay, which I really have no plans to do. If I was to get on here, would my voice be muted is the question, right? I guarantee you that the moment that I probably try to register for this shit, I'd probably be blocked. I'm not exactly I'm not exactly Trump friendly. I mean, I did do a documentary on this dude, okay, and his sexual assault allegations, talking well over 20 plus women, all right? And don't get me to talking about the 13-year-old, all right, and the other lawsuits that have been sealed up and exposed by some very interesting, folks online. Is all I can say. I don't know. That ain't the topic of today's, stream, but I'm just saying, I mean, I just can't believe that Donald Trump is even walking still free at this point. It's amazing how he manages to. I just hope they don't nickname him something like Teflon Don B, right? Teflon Don 2.0 type shit. Okay. But it's sad, man. It's just so sad. But yeah, that is the True Social. So there's your free plug, I guess. Or honestly wouldn't recommend you. I would not. Wait a second. I didn't know that True Social had stock. Are you serious? Wow. And see, that's the other thing. It's like, listen, if it wasn't bad enough when he got elected and people questioned his loyalty to the United States, especially when it came to Russia, right? The loans, the P tapes, right? The Russian prostitutes, all that, right? When he went to Moscow or whatever and did that pageant, all the scandals, right? Of the home, the inflating of his assets, that home, right? That he sold to that Russian oligarch for more than any house has ever sold in the United States of America. Okay. An absolutely pathetic, a pathetic amount. I think it was like 90 million or something crazy like that. Okay. I think he only had the property like a few years. And I just get so sick of those two sons of him. Really that Don Jr. one, right? I mean, listen, after the whole Biden son situation, the son of a sitting president, and watching him smoke crack in a sensory deprivation tank, listen, I guess anything's possible, okay? Shit. Anything's possible. But I like how Michael Cohen is getting that get back on his ass. He's going to be the one that's going to come out that corner, right? He's been waiting in the cut all this time, and he wants his motherfucking vengeance, okay? And they say vengeance is of the Lord. They also say that God forgives. We don't necessarily forgive, right? People, human beings. But they say God forgives. I think Donald Trump has some issues. He's got stuff coming at him from all angles. And I mean, it's only getting worse for him. The waters are muddy, dirty. Check out MeidasTouch. Check out that MeidasTouch podcast when you get a chance tonight, y'all. I think this clip, or I don't even know if it was this clip, or if it was one that he did on Michael Cohen did on CNN. There was something that he did that had been seen like over 1 million times by today, right? Actually, I think it was the MeidasTouch lock Trump up video viewed by over 1 million people. The man that went into the office of the president, tried to weaponize the justice system against his critics. What will happen now? What will happen now?
The protection of classified information.
Listen, did I mention that Michael Cohen's a lawyer? I don't think I mentioned that. Oh, I don't think I really had to, right? I mean, if you follow things Donald Trump, I mean, but there are some who may not know that. Michael Cohen is an attorney, maybe was an attorney. I don't know if he's still, I don't know all the rules about all of that. I don't think any of that matters. I think Michael Cohen's life, again, the beginning is just beginning, right? The rest of his life is just getting started. I always thought Michael Cohen was going to have a great get back story whenever he did get out of prison. I'm glad they didn't lock him up for too many years. We were screaming free Michael Cohen then, right? Thought it was a bunch of bullshit to see Michael Cohen even go to jail, especially watching how loyal he was, even after Trump went to the White House. I think everything happens for a reason. I'm glad that Michael Cohen didn't go with him to the White House, right? Because he could have turned out even worse. I think he's better now than he was 10 years ago. And listen, it's his life, right? He certainly will think what he thinks and feels how he feels. And man, let me tell you something. I'm liking this Michael Cohen a lot. What the hell? Shout out to water. Wait. Shout out to water, okay? Did you know that water dies once it has been unnaturally treated? Just off topic, but on topic for water. Hey, y'all, drink water, as my sister would say, right? Drink lots of water. I get so sick of hearing that, but hey. I believe that the lock Trump up video is now trending, or the hashtag, but listen, hear this part.
My administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information.
The government's paperwork lists 11 groups of documents found inside Mar-a-Lago under 3 headings: confidential, secret, and top secret.
This was not just extreme carelessness with classified material, which is still totally disqualified. This is calculated, deliberate, premeditated misconduct.
Classified documents relating to nuclear weapons were among the items the FBI agents were searching for.
A cover-up that included false statements and lies to Congress, the media, and the American people.
I'm concerned that they may have planted something. I think they just make stuff up and, come up with whatever they want.
He can literally stand over a set of documents and say, these are now declassified.
So disrespectful to our country, and actually very illegal.
Go ahead then, MeidasTouch. You go right on ahead then. They doing it. Okay. They're doing it. Got my damn attention, let me tell you. Y'all, I'm out. Much love to everybody out there. Shout out to everybody in the LeakU community worldwide, baby. All time zones. You already know. Listen, shout out to Ishay. Hold up. Shout out to water. Living water is such a thing. They can for hexagon type crystals. Check it out. Shout out to New Zealand. Absolutely. Shout out to those of you in New Zealand. Y'all, go check out MeidasTouch podcast when you get a chance. I'm out, guys. I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of your week, everybody. Till next time.